What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate support. I want to talk to you guys today about wasted potential, and it starts with this guy right here. Just one of a million stories in this country of people that throw their life away at a young age because they can't think straight or don't want to. Enter this guy here, Tremonte Kirk from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Shout out Milwaukee. This guy's 17 years old, and I want you to remember his age when I tell you what he did. This guy has just been sentenced to 35 years in prison. They deem him a serial rapist. He's 17. He's just been sentenced for the rape of 2 women last year, one in October and one in December. And they came forward and spoke in court, and he's been sentenced to 35 years in prison, 20 years of extensive supervision after that. This guy right here would run around and target women, and he would rape them. And what's crazy about it is he has a history of this, and he's been locked up before for this. He was recently released, and he went right back to it. Said his behavior started when he was 12 years old. Here's the story.
A Milwaukee teenager referred to as a serial rapist in court today will now spend decades in prison. 17-year-old Tremonte Kirk pleaded guilty in September after sexually assaulting a woman in the elevator of her apartment building. The CBS 58's Jenna Wells was at today's sentencing, where that woman shared her story.
Depraved, inhumane, sadistic, and evil. Those are just some of the words Judge David Borowski used to describe Tremonte Kirk's offenses, sentencing him to 35 years in prison, followed by 20 years of extended supervision. Kirk was arrested in December 2024 after investigators say he followed a 53-year-old woman into her apartment building near 25th and Wisconsin and sexually assaulted her in the elevator. He pled guilty to 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault and 1 for aggravated battery. At his plea hearing, prosecutors said Kirk's DNA was linked to another sexual assault that happened before that in October last year, involving a woman who was living inside her car in that same area of Wisconsin Avenue. Prosecutors asked the judge to consider that incident during Tuesday's sentencing rather than pursuing a separate case. Both women spoke publicly in court about how those offenses changed their lives.
My life was threatened. I was both suffocated and strangled. I was tortured, terrorized, and brutalized. When they say your life flashes before your eyes, it truly does, and in a nanosecond.
I had to run for my life, and my survival depended on instinct and not the system. I escaped by seconds and strength.
Kirk has a long history of sexual assault convictions, starting with 2 when he was just 12 years old and another in 2021 when he raped a 75-year-old woman during a home invasion. Kirk spent time in Lincoln Hills for both, but was released early in August last year. Judge Borowski said the system clearly failed by allowing him to reoffend so many times, and that Kirk notably preyed on vulnerable women.
You engaged in monstrous conduct that would lead the average person to believe and think that you are an absolute monster, that your parents raised a monster.
Although prosecutors asked for a 49-year sentence for Kirk, Judge Borowski said he gave a 35-year sentence because Kirk pled guilty, allowing them to avoid a trial that could further traumatize the victims. A word that was used by the judge and by those survivors today was sociopath. We do know Kirk had a mental health evaluation a few years ago where he was only found to have what they called a conduct disorder. Reporting in Milwaukee, Jenna Wells, CBS 58 News.
All right, guys, that's the story of this 17-year-old serial rapist. That's sad, man. That's sad. He running around here taking ass by force, knocking motherfuckers upside the head and feeding them his sickly, sour man milk. Make it make sense. Said the shit started when he was 12 years old. He had 2 cases. 12. 2 cases. Said he went in a woman's house during a home invasion and raped her. An elderly woman. That's some shit you see in horrific horror movies. Now, if you look at this kid, he's a big boy. He's tall. Got some size on him. Ain't no damn way nobody can fend him off of them. You running around here targeting whitey. Then you get in the motherfucking courtroom with all them white folks, you looking crazy as shit. You didn't see that coming. I know you didn't see that coming because you wasn't thinking about anything coming to you when you was out there doing that shit you was doing. Now, he's 17 years old in the body, but in the mind, he's a maniacal man. One woman was 53. The other woman was another age, I forgot. Followed one woman in the elevator and tore her ass up in a quest to get his nuts drained. Another woman was homeless, living in her car. And you go over there and take her coochie? Are you crazy? Yo, this is the thing that's crazy with these guys that do this type of stuff, be it young people or whatever, older people. They running around here, and I can tell he ain't got no dad. I'm more than sure of it, because you teach your kids, your boys, do not put your dick any and everywhere. Obviously, he ain't got that memo. You run around here having sex with people, you don't know if they got something, and they definitely scared of you and don't know if you got something. You run around here invading women's secret garden like you an enemy on foreign soil. Did you hear the bullshit? Now, they said the justice system failed before because he had a pattern of this sick, sadistic behavior. And they did. But that's normal. They always put judgment in the hands of other people that have no dog in the fight of you as a victim. And then they do the appropriate measures they seem fit after the trauma you sustained, both physically and mentally. How the fuck is that working in the justice system? Shit's a fucking farce. This guy right here, they took time off because he admitted about what he did. Don't matter if you admitted of what you did or not. That don't make the situation no better, especially when your dumb ass was already in there because they knew you did it. Multiple people point to you, and you got a history of taking ass and kicking it as well. You took time off for that? The fuck out of here. It's just upsetting that nowadays, man, you seeing people at younger ages doing some of the craziest shit that you saw in stereotypical 80s movies where a lot of black men that were actors portrayed these stereotypical parts. The rapist in the alley. The white woman walking, he comes and rips her panties, rips her pantyhose. Now you see him, motherfuckers really doing this. America is unrecognizable nowadays. We should not be scared of the younger generation coming behind us. We shouldn't. We shouldn't be scared in our own houses that an invader's going to come in there and do something to us. We shouldn't be fearful with all this technology and moving forward and all of this stuff going into the future as life is easier for some people. It ain't hard like it was in the 20s, 30s, and all those other years before that. The more easier life gets, the more stupid people are. They're ignoring the signs that this country's unraveling at the seams. And you're seeing it. When you start seeing younger people committing crimes where it shows that they're fucked up and you're seeing it en masse and nobody's addressing it and really trying to do something about it until after it's done, you know we in trouble, y'all. You know we in trouble. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's sad what happened to these victims. But it's also sad that this guy threw his life away. And evidently, he didn't have a mental problem. He just had a problem liking what he was doing, which was wrong. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.